Hello, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, and the topic we're going to talk about today is regarding what is fifth dimension and what's the difference between the third and fifth, and how basically we're living in a third dimensional body and we can also have access to fifth dimension. So I'm going to one step at a time explain what they are, and then our participants gonna have a chance to ask me questions, and then we go deeper into the whole thing. So in a technical matter, but this is my concept. It's only my concept, okay? Somebody else can explain it differently, or they have a different concept if they're looking at it from a different point of view. But fifth dimension is a unified field of love and oneness, which without the illusion of duality. So it's a unified field of oneness, which there is no duality in it. So once you enter into the fifth dimensional consciousness, then you disappear into the oneness. You become one. In that place, there's nothing that you can compare yourself to, which in third dimension is a dimension of the objects. And third dimension only operates based on a subject and an object. So let's first understand the third dimension, and so we get an idea of what third dimension is and what is the goal, or why we are emerging into the fifth dimensional consciousness while we're operating our bodies at this moment is in third 3D, okay? So in order for this world to exist, because this world it's a dream world. It comes in the dream of consciousness. It comes in the dream of God. God, consciousness, existence, the total intelligence, whatever name you like to give it. Yahweh, Ishvari, Allah, Krishna, whatever name you give it, the name does not represent an object. It represents the intelligence that exists, that operates the whole existence. There's an intelligence here, but this intelligence is not tangible. We can't touch it. We can't see it. It's like air. So out of the dreaming, or movement, or whatever, comes the third dimension. And then it comes you, me, our bodies, the world of duality. So this world cannot exist outside of duality. The idea of a utopian world cannot really exist on this earth, because everything that comes in this earth, the opposite part of it comes with it. It cannot have just all good stuff. That doesn't work. You're going to have a lot of good stuff, you're going to have a lot of bad stuff. That's the mechanics of it. That's the way it is. So when manifestation happens, it manifests both sides. And That's third dimension. There's objects viewing, there's subjects viewing objects. Without, they don't exist without each other. So for our human part is that when you wake up in the morning, which this happens with every single human being all over the planet. Whether you're white, you're black, you're red, you're yellow, whether you're from any continents in the world, doesn't matter what kind of religion you're practicing. Whether you growing up in Amazons, or you grew up in an isolated island, or you grew up in New York City, it does not matter. Where every single human being on this planet, when they wake up in the morning, they all have the first thought. Every day, everyone. And that's me. The I thought. I wake up in the morning and I say, oh, I'm still tired. Or I woke up too early. Or I gotta go to work. I'm thirsty. Oh, I have to go pee. I'm late. I feel really sad this morning. I'm cold. I'm hot. Oh, I don't like this shitty day. Too much clouds. There's an I thought arises when you first wake up in the morning. There's a thought of me arises before you even do anything. You don't have any choice over any of it. It just boom comes up. And with this me, this I thought that you're thinking, comes the rest of the world. All of a sudden, the world comes. If you're sleeping and you're not dreaming, the world and you and your body, they disappear. They disappear and they go back into fifth dimension. They go back into nothingness. Because in fifth dimension, there is nothing you can compare yourself to, because it's all one. So the one doesn't have anything to compare itself to. It's only in third dimension that you can compare good, bad, man, woman, I feel good, I feel bad. What does I feel good mean? I feel good against what? It's got to be an opposite to it that you're feeling good. It's got to be an opposite to it that you're feeling bad. Otherwise, it's just non-existing. So what happens is, okay, let's go a little bit further and down. There's 4 levels of sleep. There's the number one is where you have the highest rate of REM, rapid eye movement, is at its highest. So there's a rapid eye movement happening. That means you are having dreams. And so you go to bed and you sleep, but it's not a comfortable sleep. Because when you wake up, your body is sleeping, but your mind is very active and it's running. So when you wake up in the morning, you're tired, you're exhausted, because your mind didn't get to rest. Your body rested. So, you've been hearing noises, and you know, that happens. Then there's the second level of sleep, which the REM is lower. And you sleep, you wake up the next day, you're not 100% rested. You know you had dreams, but you don't really remember them, but you know that your mind was busy when you were sleeping. Then there's the third level, that you sleep And the REM is not even lower than the first and second. Again, you wake up in the morning, you know there was some activities going on. It wasn't very powerful, but there were activities happening. And you're not 100% rested. It's not as bad as number 2, and it's way much better than the first level. But it's not 100%. Then you have the 4th level of sleep, where there is the REM is a very, very, very subtle. Very, very, very subtle. And that's your best sleep, because you put your head down and you wake up 8 hours after, 6 hours after. Let's say if it's a daytime nap, 2 hours after. You wake up in the morning and you say, oh my God, wow, I slept so good. I feel so energized. I was gone. You tell yourself, oh my God, I slept and I was gone. And when you go to the 4th level of sleep, okay, so let's say you're lying down here next to your sweetheart, your partner. And then your child is in the other room or is in your bedroom or whatever. You have a mortgage to pay, you have a car payment to pay, you got a lot of like life problems or whatever it is, business to run, you have your employees or whatever, you're broke, you're not, you have health issues, your mom's dying from cancer, somebody sued you, or you're buying a new business, whatever issues in your life you have, everything disappears. All of your issues in life disappear, including your body. You don't have a partner, you don't have a child, everything goes. When you sleep and you don't dream, you're in a 4th level of sleep. The entire world disappears, including you. You have 0 memory of sleeping. You put your head down at 12 o'clock at night, you woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and in that 8 hours, there was 0 awareness of anything. Everything disappeared. That's where you go into 5th dimension. So 5th dimension is not separated from us, and it's not a place. We are existing in different dimensions simultaneously. All of your intuitive knowing, all the information that transfers to you and you pick up is coming from your 5th dimensional self. All your guidance, that you were guided to go to Zarathustra's workshop. You were guided to go to vacation in Canary Islands, and you met your partner. You were guided to go to a place, and you follow your intuitive knowing, not your head. That's all information comes from your 5th dimensional self. That comes from your other part of yourself that has access to all this information. So, we already have a foot in 5th dimension. It's just noticing it, understanding it, that 5th dimension is not a physical location to get to. It's something we're already a part of. It's just recognizing it and finding access to it. Okay? So Ms. Ava, ask your next question.
It was, okay, so I understand that we have the access and we are in the fifth dimension.
Yes.
And the more we rise our vibrations and get rid of the blockages in this life, we are more and more in there, right? More connected with this field.
It appears to be that way. Appears. Okay? Right? So right now you're a woman, right? Do you ever doubt you're a woman? Do you ever think you're a man?
No.
No. Okay, what do you have to do to be a more woman?
I'm just like that.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you don't have to do anything regarding going to fifth dimension because your higher self resides in this fifth dimension. So it's already there and here simultaneously. Our mind does not understand that because I have to use words. So it says there and here. But there's no there and here. It's all here. But I have to use it for language. So you don't have to do anything to reach fifth dimension because you're already there.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah, that's good news. What separates you and what is the obstacle is the mind. Your thinking mind. The mind that processes stuff. And the mind that is processing things is because from childhood, like a 5-year-old kid doesn't have any problems regarding these things because they're operating from their intuitive knowing. Children processing from their intuition until we keep banging, society keeps banging with a hammer and and a stick, tack, 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 trying to form them, and we form them to whatever we want, which is we keep telling them think of future, think of this, think of that, because we don't have this in our education. That very little. Maybe there are some hippie families or some people from the 60s that some parents were teaching their children to be intuitive, to use this other part of themselves. But majority, 99% of the population of human being, we got shut down and we were not allowed, we were shamed that we were not allowed to use our intuitive knowing. So we had to use logic and mathematics. And in mathematics, 2 and 2 is 4. But when you're thinking intuitively and you start transforming from the head to the heart, and you're operating from this place, 2 and 2 could be 5. 2 and 2 could be 7. Because it has a different laws. It breaks through the laws of intellectual thinking. And there's nothing wrong with intellectual thinking. It does exist and it's working to a certain point, but not for you and I and us anymore, because it only took you so far and then it brought you to suffering. You started to suffer. And when you start suffering, and then you start coming into the world of the spirit, you're going to have to have a transition from intellectual thinking to into the understanding of the heart. This area knows things. That's why in English language it says, yeah, I avoided that guy. I didn't go to business with him because my gut was telling me no. In Farsi language, in Iranian, in Farsi, we say, my stomach wants something, whatever. When I tell my friend, Essie, my friend who was here the other day, he said, Zarathustra, my stomach says, let's go to the center of town and walk around and get an ice cream. My stomach wants to go to the beach. My stomach wants to go on a vacation. This is how we speak in Farsi language. We refer to my stomach wants to go somewhere, or doesn't want something and wants something. Why? Why do we use that? Why do we say that? Or why in English language we're saying my gut feeling? And I'm going to tell you why. Well, 90 to 95% of your neurotransmitters are here in your digestion, in your intestinal tracts, specifically in your small intestine. 95% of your 90 to 95% of the neurotransmitters. 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So if any disturbance happening in your gut, you can get anxiety, you can get depression, you can get all kinds of health issues because there's a disturbance in the gut. And your gut is a thinking mechanism. It's like it's another brain you have here. So physically, not only physically, scientifically proven that we have a thinking mechanism in this part of our body, but also spiritually, we all know, all of you guys know that are here, otherwise you wouldn't be here, that there is something in the background of our lives that is way bigger than anything else. There is an intelligence in the background, but you have to dig in a little bit. Something is governing the world. Something is running this world. And this thing was here before you and I were born. And you and I are going to die any day. Tomorrow, next 20 years, next 50 years. And this thing is going to be here. It's been here ever since the ever since. There's an intelligence here, way, way more sophisticated and exact than whatever we think or whatever is going on. So you and I have already discovered that there is something much bigger and deeper here. All of you already noticed that. That's why you came on this path. Because you noticed there is something there. Your mom, your dad, your cousin, they go watch the football game, They may say this is bullshit, this is woo-woo, this is yoga, this is trendy, or ordinary people, but there is a small percentage of us, which is kind of growing, or appears to be growing, that is noticing that, wait a minute, there is something much bigger here something that I cannot touch it, I cannot smell it, I can't rub it on my skin, I can't eat it to taste it, but there's definitely something here that is running the show. Yeah? Yes? If you agree with me, just give me a thumbs up, because I want to know you're here with me. Right, exactly. So we all have noticed that. And that is in you, and you are in it. And that is one with you. It's not separated from you and I. It's here, and we're one with it. And for that, we don't need to do anything to be more one with it. We're already one with it. What we appears that we need to do is that we begin to trust our intuitive knowing more and kind of start ignoring our intellectual thinking or the mind, kind of not paying so much attention to the mind and not so much invest into therapy with our emotional healing stories, because that's also stories of the mind. They're kind of avoiding these things. So, how do we do that? The way you do it is what I've always shared with you. Be quiet. Take time and just be still. Take your time and be quiet. Go to the nature and walk by yourself. Trust your intuitive knowing. Trust that you're protected. Don't get into the stories of Ukraine or pandemic or Donald Trump or blah, 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 or this and that. Don't get into the stories. The stories are creations of the mind. They're the intellectual thinking. Blah, 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 blah. Kind of bypass that instead of being there trying to process. Oh, I need to work on myself because this happened in my childhood. I need to clear this. Process. Okay, something happened in your childhood. Where is that? Yes, I know you've been traumatized. I get it. We've all been traumatized. All right? You're not the only one who's been traumatized. We all got traumatized. So don't think like you're the only one who got traumatized. Who didn't? Yes, some of us got more traumatized and we got frozen at that age, and now we're just like people who got really seriously traumatized. Normally they get stuck at that age, 13, 14, 8. Their body starts growing, but emotionally they don't grow until they work on it. Okay, you've been working on yourself for a long time. How much longer do you need to work on yourself to de-traumatize yourself? If you haven't done it by now, then maybe that's not the way. Maybe it's time to give up that story because it's your mind. Okay, I need to work on what happened I got traumatized at age 14. Okay, so where is it? It's a memory which is in your mind. That means you have to go to the mind and go to the past. Activating your mind and reproduce that trauma to get over it. Okay, how many times you've done it? Tell me, one of you. How many times you've gone to therapist workshops and you work on your traumas? Anyone wants to volunteer? Say something. Any of you? Renetta, you're very good at it. You tell me. By the way, I didn't say hello to you. Sorry. Nice to see you, by the way, my dear.
Nice to see you too. I want, you know my story. story. I didn't go to any place or people to work on my story. I went into me to see and just to be aware, and that's all.
Right. But how many times, how many years you've done that? Approximately.
It just appears, but you know, it just is.
Okay.
Like,
Right.
you don't go there to analyze or to do something. It's just happening
Right.
naturally. That this transformation is just happening.
Transformation happened. But you have been working on yourself. You're a conscious person, and you've been working on yourself.
It's like just to know yourself outside of these things, what you was thinking you are.
Right. Great. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anyone else? Feels like you don't have to if you don't want to step up. That's okay. But we all have done it, right? So there's a point like enough is enough. And I know a lot of people who are just stuck in the loop and addicted. Another workshop and another workshop. Or I'm going to do this thing with these Aboriginal shamans, and then I'm just going to go, there's a new guy comes. It's like an addiction. It's a drug addiction. Chasing different gurus. Guru chasing. Or going to like Conscious Life Expo. Like when I had the expo in Los Angeles, I was participating. Or the expo, I was participating in Sweden, in Solna, Holland, Harmony Mesa, the expo, or the LA expo. And it's like coming to this teacher and 5 minutes before it's over, running to go to the next one, and running to go to the next one, and running to go to the next one, da-da-da-da. So that's compact in an expo, I understand. They came to an expo and they want to taste everyone. But some people have an addiction, like you have an addiction to drugs, or alcohol, or cigarettes, or danger, or sex, or lying, or whatever addiction, there's millions, sugar, or an addiction into guru hopping. Chasing this guru, everybody's going there now, the new one comes, and everybody, I know a lot of people. I've been there myself, not that I don't know. I was in it for a very short period of time. But I've been in this industry, in this world, for 40 years. So in 40 years, you see everything. There's nothing I haven't seen. And it doesn't go anywhere. They're still doing it, there's another one, and there's another one. But so at one point, it's like enough is enough. This doesn't work. So what do? Because it's trying to work on the mind, fixing the mind, fixing the emotions, but you can't fix them. They're not fixable. So how about if you just bypass them? By bypassing them is a transformation from the head to the heart. You fall into the presence. And when you come to the presence, you fall into silence. And when you're in silence, there is no questions. You have no questions. What's the reason of my existence? That's the philosophical questions been here around the world. What is the reason of my existence? Everybody asks that question. Well, sweetheart, you're not going to be around very long. Don't worry about it. Because the mind is asking that question. Well, where we're going to go after we die? Well, do you know anyone who died? They buried them, and 6 months after they were buried, they came out of their coffin, and they came back to life, and they tell you what's going on the other side? Nobody knows, because nobody came back. I'm not talking about near-death experiences. I'm talking about the actuality of dying, being buried, and a year after that you resurrect yourself and you come out. I don't know of anyone. So nobody knows what's going on after you're gone. And nobody knows where you were before you were born. You can come and tell me some stories that I remember my past life. Well, most people who come up with their past lives, nobody comes and tells me, you know what, I used to be a hooker in my past life on the streets of Paris, and I was sleeping with a lot of Nazi soldiers during the occupation. I never had anyone come and tell me. Everybody was an Egyptian priestess in a high temple, or they were in one of these lost civilizations, or nobody comes and says, hey, I was a whore. Excuse me, I'm not insulting women, okay? You could be a male prostitute. Nobody comes and tells me I was Adolf Hitler in past life. I was this amazing Indian warrior, and I don't know. Or was this goddess, this priest. Okay, so you don't really know where you were. Let's not joke around. Maybe you have some ideas or a little bit visions of past life for this one, but do you really remember your past life exactly like you remember this life? No. And do you know where you were exactly before you were born? No. So we don't know that either. It's the mind that wants to go to these places. So bypass the mind and come here or come here. Means like going to your fifth dimensional self that you don't even need to go, but it's here. But for now, for simplicity, I'm just gonna say, dive into your heart. Just come here and let's try it. Let's come here together for a few moments and let's see what happens. Let's examine it for ourselves. Let's just dive into our hearts. Just come here. And to come here, which I've said many times, I mean, there's many kind of active meditations to do to come back, but we'll do this simple one because I'm too lazy to get up and jump up and down right now. So we're just going to do the lazy ways man to enlightenment. It works really good for me. Maybe it works for you too. So what we do is bring your attention. You can look at me if you want. You're welcome to. Simply turn your intention inwards rather than keeping your attention on your thoughts, which are objects, or your emotions. Just turn your attention inwards. And if you have thoughts in your mind right now, okay, follow these thoughts. It's like a string. You know, it's a thread. And just follow this and see, where do your thoughts come from? Where is the origin of your thoughts? Kind of like investigate them. Go inwards and see what, just kind of observe it, and then boom, your mind goes into silence and everything becomes quiet. I don't want you to try. Don't try. Just simply take a deep breath and relax, and just kind of take a short vacation in the inner world and see what's happening. And you can relax. You're allowed to disconnect from the world of thoughts. I give you permission. And you're allowed to just relax. Yeah. And slowly come back. And how are you feeling? Anybody has any questions or wants to talk about anything? I'm thinking about going a little bit longer today. So if you are all in, we can extend it for another 50 to, I'm at 12:54, we can go to 12 to 1:15 or a bit longer if you have time. Okay, so Anybody feels like sharing about what's happening right now?
I feel calm.
Okay.
Yeah. Relaxed.
Relaxed. Right. So, Eva or Susanna, go ahead. You want to say something?
Peace.
Peace.
Absolutely peace.
Yeah.
And feel perfect. Everything is fine. Everything is good.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Absolute inner peace.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A light around.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did it take to do that? How much energy it needed to do to
No
just
way.
yeah.
Only stay centered.
Yeah.
Breathe and go in the inner. That's all.
Yeah. So how do you feel, Katrina?
Very relaxed and content. It was, I'm not exactly sure how I arrived there, but with the guidance of the meditation, thinking like examining thoughts and like the nature of that. Of course, it was very, for me, like abstract and like very flowing, like kind of felt like a river, just like moving through that and feeling like thoughts are like a dance for this world to interact with people on this plane, and it can be so beautiful, words, and creating like the meaning of the words, what's underneath them, because the words by themselves are just symbols, lines put together. And then once this sort of emergence of that, like words and language and thoughts are a dance, then I just like settled into this content calmness.
Beautiful. And did you have to do anything for it? Was there any effort?
No, not at all. I feel like I just said like hello.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations. Let's have a clap for her, everybody. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful explanations. Look, this is your natural state, and it's always here. So it's just, again, what do I need to do to be a man? Nothing. Unless I have concepts. Okay, I can say like, a man means you provide for your family. A man means like if somebody says something bad to your wife, you punch him on his face. A man means that blah, blah, blah. So those are, okay, those are what society, morality, or ideas are being a man. But physically, I don't have to do anything. I'm already it. Okay, maybe I can do some plastic surgery to make things a little bit bigger, so I'm more of a man, but I am. And you're a woman, and what do you have to do to be a woman? Nothing. You are. So this is exactly the same way. I want everybody to just pay attention to this. This is your natural state. Your natural state is peaceful and blissful. And then you come and say, well, why don't I feel it all the time? And I explained it to you earlier, because you're conditioned and programmed to run around all the time, and looking for the next thing and the next thing somewhere else, where you have everything inside yourself. And you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just be quiet. That's all you have to do. Just be quiet. Shut up. Just keep the mouth shut and move down here. Disconnect from the story. And that's all you have to do. I'm using the word shut up as a joke, so we can have some fun with it too, you know? So it's not serious. A friend of mine and I, a long time ago, this was 1990 in San Diego, and then we started doing a club for a while, not actually having the building. You would just contract with a place and you would have a party there, club party there once a week. And we called it Shut Up and Drink. That was the name of it. And then years after that, when I was in Sedona, we started another club and it was called Magic Wednesday. And then it turned into Magic Dance Party. So you just, all you do, you get into the habit of slowing down. You take a few moments. You disconnect from the world. Don't worry, the world and your problems are all going to be there. You don't need to panic. All the phone calls you need to make, you will make. All the answers you have to answer, you do. I mean, pay attention. How much time do you spend, honestly, for younger people? I'm not talking about Marit or Monica. I mean, not that you're not young. But I'm talking about younger generation. How much time do you waste on looking at Instagram and liking other people's pictures that you don't even know? Or looking at Facebook stuff or YouTube, which I love it. I go on YouTube to check something and all of a sudden this short YouTube stuff come and they're fascinating and then I'm stuck. All of a sudden, 45 minutes, I'm watching one thing or another or on Instagram. All of a sudden I get stuck there. It just, like a hook. Like you're hooking a fish. I'm hooked. And I'm watching this short, and they're fascinating, you know, different things. So how much time are you spending on these kind of things? You just check it out for yourself. Checking out other people's lives or liking them or commenting on them or paying attention what they do, which you don't even know because a lot of it is illusion. It's not even real. Everything's photoshopped and daddy, and everybody on Instagram or Facebook, you go check them out, they're all happy, wow. Well, you and I lived in this world. You know every day is not really happy. There's a lot of miserable days too, that you don't feel good. So it's illusory. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to get into that. What I want to get into is cut that down a little bit and spend like 10 minutes. Unofficial, not like I'm going to put 10 minutes on meditation, because meditation is not something you do. Meditation is your natural state. Meditation is something that comes naturally. So anywhere you are, whatever you are, you know, if you have time, just disconnect from the story, because the story is always going to be there, okay? And just kind of come back here, hang in here. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And then you're going to find your soulmate. You start dancing with your soulmate. You're going to start getting these tinglings and these bubbles, small, subtle, very subtle, of love coming. And you're just like, you're sitting somewhere, you're not doing anything, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. Or there's a moment like, oh my God. Or there are moments like your mind is going crazy. Oh my God, I hate the traffic, and I hate these people, or all this situation, it sucks, and the world sucks, and blah, 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 which is okay, because your mind needs to puke, it needs to throw up. And don't be hard on yourself, let it throw up. And then the moment you're quiet, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, what an amazing life I have. I don't have 5 Lamborghinis, I don't have 5 homes and $30 million. But I go run by the beach, I go swim in the ocean, I have beautiful friends. I can eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. I have a nice place. It's good enough. It's simple, but I like it. I have everything I need. And you come back to that place and you realize less is more. And if you're patient, you get rewarded with the gift of more patience. And if you're quiet, you get to experience your soulmate that you've been looking for, because she's been looking for you and she's been waiting for you all of your life. So you recognize her because she's here. You're just too much stuck in your head, or too much spending time thinking about comparing yourself to other people, or what other people do, or what other people think about you, or how you should be or shouldn't be, while you're perfect and God loves you. And God is in you, within you, and provides for you every day. And the more you recognize it, the more you enjoy your alone time being by yourself, the more she appears in your life. Because you're taking time to be by yourself. You're not lonely. You're alone. And there are moments you may feel lonely too. And that's allowed as well. But the power of aloneness, being with God, beats the hell out of anything else. That's richness. And most people on this planet don't have what we have. And you have access to your teacher. You don't have to leave your life and go to India, put everything on hold. All you do is you press a button. Or you go on YouTube and you have access to so many different teachers. There's a wealth of information and wisdom. You have access to the Library of Alexandria when you go on internet. All of them are here. You have to weed them out and find the real deal, because most of it is commercial. And once in a while, you find the real deal. And you have access to it. How lucky we are. And then we stop complaining about what we don't have, or why, or things should be a different way. And we focus about how rich our lives are. And the more you're content, the more existence showers you. The more you bitch and moan, the more miserable you're going to be. It's very simple. Anybody has a question or comment before we wrap it up?
You're asking me? Huh?
No, I said if anybody has,
Oh, okay.
but you're welcome to.
No, I just, I can feel this, these moments of bliss when I meditate, when I close my eyes, or when I just walk somewhere and I'm inside of myself. And somehow the stillness is inside of me. You are right. But I was a little bit confused, because I thought that to get there to this 5D, I need to work more, I need to know more, and it's just like, being in this carousel of thoughts again.
Right. Yeah. No, thank God you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you recognize that it's here, just meditate more. Not meditate, oh, I gotta meditate, not as a chore. It's something you have to do. You gotta go change your clothes to your yoga clothes and da-da-da-da. No, just what does it take if 5 minutes a day, anywhere you are, you just dive inside yourself. You're in a metro station, or you're in a coffee shop, or you're in a doctor's office, and instead of going on your phone, checking on Instagram, you just go check out your girl inside, your soulmate, and you just there. And then you feel it. And the more you do that, the more it becomes familiar. So, my beloveds, it's really nice seeing you all. I love you.
May I
Yes, please.
may I say something?
Yes, please.
I love it so much when you give us sometimes give us a clap, or how do you call it?
Push or kick.
Push.
Oh.
To get our roles on the reel, back on the reel again, to find our route, our road.
You're welcome.
You mean the path?
The path.
Yeah. You're welcome, my brother. Thank you for saying that. Always in the midst of the chaos, which is happening right now in this world, it's in a transitional state, and it's moving from the last century, it moved from feudalism into industrial era, from industrial era is shifting into the digital information era, and we don't know if we're going to get assimilated with AI, which most probably is going to happen too. So it's going to be half human, half AI, and which is okay. I'm okay with that, because you're going to have different parts in your body very soon. That, you know, you have a artificial eye, artificial arm, and eventually a lot of AI parts in you, which is a part of the evolution. It's shifting from one thing to another. But right now, like all centuries, like when it shifted from farming and into industrial era, what happened was, like in the United States, from 1900 to 1935 or 1940 or 45, a $60 billion industry disappeared, which was horsemen, stables, places you would take your horses to I don't know the terminologies of, you know, what do you call the thingy that is under their feet, the metal that they would put? Katrina, you're American, right? You live in America?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Horseshoe.
The horseshoe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Replacing her. So what it was there were stations all over the country that carriages, horses, when you traveled, because there were no cars. Okay? And the trains were limited too. So there was no metro, there were no buses. So you had to go with horses and carriages to places. So, and there had to be stations, like gas stations that we have today, all over the country to cater and service horses. Because that was our car, or mules. So that industry disappeared in this period of 1900 to 1950 or 1945. It completely disappeared. So it always creates fear, because it's a transition, and now it's happening to us now. It's confusing, it's weird. The older people like me, who's from an older generation, is not very good computer savvy, internet savvy, digital savvy, don't understand it, you know, how to get into it. The younger generation, very savvy, they're locked into, it's like they were born with a phone now. I think the new kids are gonna born with an iPhone. Maybe you can put an order, like, okay, I want my kid to be born with an iPhone or an Android. And then maybe pretty soon, like, it changes. Like maybe you can buy a baby from Amazon. They'll ship it to you for 30 days, and you can try it. And if you don't like it, you can send it back. It can happen. You don't know. All kinds of things. We're at this age that anything can just, because it's a new world. We're going into the digital world, whether you like it or not. So it's a transition, and it's chaotic. And in the midst of this chaos, there has to be masters, or awakened ones, or beings who are centered. And And so we can gather around that field to connect to it. So we find our stability. Otherwise, we're lost. Like, you can see what's going on in the world. All you have to do is stick your head out of the window and see what's happening. Lost. You know, confused. Completely. So it's our job to be centered. Because we're the ones who found this information. My teacher transferred it to me, and I'm transferring it to you because he gave it to me as a gift. And it's my obligation to share it with those who are seeking it and open to it. So it's our job to stay centered so it can stable this chaotic thing. Somebody has to be still in the midst of this chaos. Otherwise, it will just consume itself. And existence always provides that. So that's our job. And we're doing it. Just by being authentic, being yourself, and just staying centered. Not react. And demonstrate that. Not talk about it. Just simply be the anchor in your family. Be the anchor of your community. Be the solid one. The one who walks his talk, her talk. The one who demonstrates stillness, silence. The ones who honors her word or his word. The one who is really stable. And every once in a while helps, or is, I'm not talking about being Mother Teresa, but reaches out to family, friends, or community, does something for the community without expectations. Is not doing something for the community so you can video it and put it on Instagram to show everybody else that, oh, look at me, I did something. No, you just do it. And you're there. And you're not asking for anything. And you just build your character on that. And then people start viewing you and seeing you that you're solid. This is solid. And they respect you. And they look up to you. So that this new generation which is lost needs us. Who is it going to look up to? The school system is programming. The parents, they're clueless completely. The school system is simply a method of creating robots and slaves and products to eat all kinds of shit so they get sick or do drugs or become alcoholic so they get cancer or health issues, so then passes them to pharmaceutical companies. That's the system is for. Send them to college for more intellectual understanding, more selfishness, all me, like US is the sample of that, of a society that is all me, and fuck everybody else. As long as what I get, what do I care about anyone else? And it's our duty to demonstrate the way of the heart. Because we're the ones who are working on ourselves. we're the ones who have this access to this information. And the others look up to us when we demonstrate it, but not talking, walking the path. Because they're lost. And they need us. In whichever level you do it, whichever level you do it, it's a start. Whatever you do, whatever you do, have a little talk. Yeah, Ava, you teach in school. You have access to all these kids, and I know you give them your wisdom. You do it for your children, and you get a lot of wisdom for your kids in school. So all of us, in our own way, we do what we can. I'm not Jesus Christ, and we're not planning on saving the world, but we just spread the wisdom and we show that there is another way of living, and that's the way of the heart. And we don't get frustrated over the world and try to convince people. No, that's not the way. You just live that way and people will notice it. And people get attracted to it and they come to you. But you have to demonstrate it. That you're really walking that path. Without trying to convince anyone. You just demonstrate it. You walk the path. And then that's like a butterfly. A butterfly can create a tsunami. Did you know that? A butterfly, and you see how fragile a butterfly is? How little a butterfly is? How insignificant a butterfly seems to be? Have you noticed that? Did you know a butterfly can create a tornado or a tsunami? Anybody? A butterfly has the ability to create a major tornado or tsunami. So do you. Its wing going like this, so poof, poof, poof. Every time it's flying, right? So one, poof, 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 poof. So every time its wings going, it magnifies. And it gets bigger, it doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles. Do you understand this example? Is it making sense? Yeah. So from here, when you're looking at a butterfly, it's nothing. It's so fragile. It's like, and they are. Oh my God, be careful because they're so thin. But you don't know that every time it's doing its wings like this, it can have an impact of creating a tornado. So do you. So do we. We're not small. We're very big. Because we found the way of the heart. And we share the same soul with the rest of them. But they're lost. So once you come back to your heart, they're like bees. They want to come or they're like nightingales. They want to come and stick their beacon into the honey. They want the honey. They want the juice. They want love. So they're on Instagram. The girls are demonstrating their butts or their tits and everything on social media all over with any kind of tricks. Some of them are doing meditation, but they're half naked. So they bring sexuality in meditation or blah, blah, blah. You've seen them. You haven't?
They cannot compete with you.
Well, thank you. But you can see like how lost they are. I'm not just talking about girls or guys or whatever. They're lost. And they're looking for love, which translates to confirmation and affirmation. They want to be accepted. They want to be seen in the outer world. So they do anything possible to get attention. But it doesn't matter how much attention they get. It's still coming from the outer world. And when we're centered in our hearts, it's animating the presence and the light and the love of God. And they're attracted to that because you're reflecting what they have inside themselves. And they come to you, and then you show them that they have it within themselves. And that's the gift you can give them by being that yourself. And that's how we change the world. Or we balance it. By being ourselves, being true to ourselves, and walk the talk. On that note, we're coming to the end of our academy. It's really nice to see you. I am going to 3 cities in Poland, starting with Warsaw, and the other 2, I don't know how to pronounce them. So maybe one of the girls can pronounce the names for me. And after that, of course, I'm going to go to Hamar, which I'm going to see some of you beloveds. And I'm going to go to Oslo for a week. I decided to add that up. And I'm going to I will create a window for private clients that people want to see me in Oslo. They can come and see me there and reconnect with my Oslo family, because I haven't been there for a long time. So it's time to go back and reconnect. So if your heart desires, I know I'm going to see a number of you. Hopefully either in Poland or in Norway. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, and my schedule is on my website, all the dates and everything. Actually, good idea, I check on it and make sure everything's right. And then, inshallah, God willing, if there is still life in this body, I will see you next week. I feel a lot better. I did find a beautiful, amazing lady from Australia who's a master in human body, and she's a nurse, but she's way beyond a nurse, not just a normal nurse. Of course, she has the education of a medical, but alternative. And she's been helping me a lot, and I would say I'm 98% healed. So now she's my healer. So I found my healer to go to. So thank you for all your love and concern. I'm fine. I'm healed. So by the time the tour comes, I'll be 100%. So I appreciate all the love you've been sending me, because it was what, over 3 weeks, 22 days that I was sick, which was good. I'm grateful to that sickness, because it gave me a lot of gifts. It gave me an opportunity to stay home. I didn't go out for 1 month at night. And finally I went one night and danced my butt off on Monday night. But it was great staying home and just being by myself, either watching movies or making a little bit of food or talking, catching up with my family, friends. And I'm really grateful to this illness. It gave me a lot of gifts. And like everybody, I needed a kick in the ass to be reminded not to take my health and my youth and energy for granted. So thank you, illness. You gave me a great gift, and I'm ready to move on. So illness is not necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of wisdom can come out of it. Loving you all. Have a wonderful week. And looking forward to seeing you soon. And stay in your heart. Stay in your heart. That's where your power is. Don't get out of that. Stay in your heart. Om Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Let there be peace, let there be peace, let there be peace among all beings of the universe. Aho!
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you all. Nice to see you, my Instagram family. And if you feel there is any value in this teaching, you're welcome to forward the webinar to your friends and family. I'm just quickly gonna scroll down. There seems like there were some messages, but I'm not able to access that. So we'll see each other soon. Namaste.